Hi everyone, Some Gamer Dude here. I just felt like having a bit of a chat on how things are going and what I'm doing. This won't come as a shocker, but I'm mostly playing Force of Will at the moment, interlaced with playtesting my own work. I'd like to play Final Fantasy a bit more, but I don't really get the opportunity. I'm not too cut up about that, both Force of Will and Final Fantasy are Magic derivative, so similar enough. Same goes for Magic really. I have a black-white vampire deck I really want to try out and fine-tune. I've had it since June or July, I think. Just not too worried that I haven't had the chance to play it. I'm a bit more concerned with playtesting anyway. As far as other things go, I haven't really found myself wanting to try or play anything else. Digimon is upcoming and I really love that learn to play demo on the phone, but I'm iffy on it. I'm still a bit miffed on how Chrono Clash went. I genuinely enjoyed that game. I don't trust Bandai to maintain a fun gameplay experience. I can't name one of their games that hasn't gone off the rails horribly. I'm also a bit concerned about barrier to entry. I'm not really looking for a game where getting the components is a pain in the ass and expensive. I don't think making judgments based on how Japan is going is wise. Our packs and sets are considerably different, while cards are typically much more expensive in English. I'll be watching Digimon very closely, but I'm not jumping in until I know what I'm jumping into. My friend group seems to be of the same mind. You might have noticed I shifted backgrounds from the long-standing blue one to a purple one with a black mana icon. This was because when I color shifted the background during the Alice Origins 4 previews, I really liked the contrast that the darker background brought. I think it stands out a lot better and it is easier to read than dark text on a light background. You might have noticed early on this year I stopped promoting the Patreon. I'm not sure when I stopped, but I did so because I felt it was poor form with everything going on. I'm not reliant on YouTube for income. It was just to be used for artwork and supplies for my own game. Now everything is starting to settle down, I'm considering relaunching it. I've been tossing up making the goals something like starter openings, game reviews for the starters I open, and monthly box openings. I'm not sure if that is something you guys would like to support or if I should just scrap the entire thing. We'll see. During this year I started 2 new series, Casual Fight Fridays and Cards I Like. Casual Fight Fridays was mostly an easy way to bloat my content count. I know people like watching games and it's easy enough to produce. My friend and I usually just play 2 to 4 games in a row some days, and I use that. I did take on the comment recently to have commentary, which doesn't really increase the workload enough to care. But I am concerned that the length of the videos is a bit unwieldy. Cards I Like was to increase the time between my normal content, so I have time to work on those videos. Though honestly, most of that now is finding something to talk about. In addition to this, it gave me the opportunity to talk about cards I otherwise couldn't. I'm not sure how everyone takes to Cards I Like. None of these videos have done particularly well. I think part of that is the thumbnail, which I'm going to work on. Probably go back and remake them all. I have been contemplating dropping both series, but I'd rather get opinions on them before I do that. Before I change subjects, I'm kind of tempted to experiment with some action figure reviews. I'm not sure how I'd handle it, it's just something I'd like to try. Anyway, my own game is the main topic I wanted to talk about today, since I rarely discuss it, and some pretty big changes have happened over this year. I'm still going to be vague about it, so keep that in mind. If you've been watching my videos, I lost my main playtester earlier this year, but he's been replaced recently, so it's not a major concern. Playtesting has been going well with the new tester, no major issues bar some cleaning up that was necessary anyway. Mostly fixing terminology. I've been working on that for flavour reasons and future planning anyway. There was a major part of the game I liked, but was awkward. It was a triggered mechanic that got set off at the most inopportune times. Original testing developed major gripes with it. I had tested alterations to the mechanic, but it just seemed worse. Eventually, I just reconfigured the mechanic quite a bit, the end result being much more like a video game, but it seems to have turned out well. There are no complaints about it, and it feels like a reward. It feels like it was intended to. Good. Actually, thinking about it, a lot got inspired by video games. Related to that mechanic, I did end up incorporating an idea I was throwing around for 2 versions of the avatar cards per set. Sets aren't really big, I'm only one guy after all, 66 cards. There is literally no filler though, and only 3 colours. That said, customization is a big part of the game's identity, and there are a lot of decks from just set 1. The avatar card is very important to deck identity, so while the deck components might start a bit samey for the first set, the actual decks and what they do will end up different. The game was designed with life decks in mind. We had play-tested life points in a much older draft years ago now, but the opinion of the playtester was that life decks are more exciting. They're an adrenaline rush. Saying that, because of how some people can get about life decks and a heavy theme of the game is customization, I'm strongly considering just letting players make their own choices. When the game starts, you state how you wish to receive damage. Of course, the card usage and how relevant certain strategies will be will depend on whether you're playing the game the way it was designed or choosing life points. But it does leave me open to design for both. Options for me. The more components there are to play with, the easier it is to design cards. Saying that though, the game was designed to be very intuitive to play and easy to learn. Overly convoluted mechanics or cards are scrapped. I'm always on the lookout for making things smoother. It might be hard for me to say this because I'm clearly biased, but I think it's very easy to get your head around. As for how far along I am, sets 1 through 3 are nearly complete. Set 1 is. This will be the entire Year 1 and Block 1. Again, one guy. Have to be realistic on how much I can do, especially with the channel and other commitments. Due to the nature of the game and the story, I need to pre-plan a lot in advance. Year 1 and Year 2. Characters have had to have been shuffled around a lot because of story, testing, and for mechanical diversity. I have someone on the story to try to take some of the pressure off of me. I already know what years 3, 4, and 5 will entail. I'm hoping to get everything finished up in the next few months. I would really like to launch this next year. While I felt this way at the end of 2019, I think it's only gotten better since then. I've reworked the frame so many times I've lost count, thinking I might do it again. I know exactly how the card is laid out, I'm happy with it, I just want it looking the way I need it to look. I'm currently rewriting the manual. I really want the manual to be pocket-sized, easy to comprehend and short. I'm a huge fan of the presentation of the Bakugan manual and want that. While I am very proud of the game as it stands, I'm extremely curious on how certain choices of mine will go down. I could imagine some may be divisive, but they were made with the best of intentions. As I move forward, you'll see the first one early on. The second one will have to wait for crowdfunding. I'm looking to do streams like Jeff and Jordan did for Force of Will at least once a month when all of this kicks off. I suspect I'll be addressing both of them in one of those. That is all I really want to address at the moment. If there is anything you want to see or any comments you have to make, please comment down below. I thought me sleeving up Dark Alice was at least more interesting than a static screen. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.